The Warriors series, developed by Omega Force and published by Koei, has been around since the late 90s with the fighting game Dynasty Warriors. Since the second game in 2000, Dynasty Warriors 2, the series has always been a third-person hack-and-slash game in which each level is this huge battle, and your main objective is to usually take out the enemy general leading the troops. Samurai Warriors began in 2004 as a Sengoku Period Japanese take on the formula, and now 17 years later, Samurai Warriors 5 is the latest iteration in the franchise. With Samurai Warriors 5, Koei and Omega Force settled on reimagining the franchise, essentially creating more of a reboot than a sequel. With this, we have a beautiful new art style resembling traditional Japanese ink wash paintings. We get new character redesigns, which I'll come on to my thoughts of those shortly. But most importantly, we get a new focus. Ever since the first Samurai Warriors from 2004, Yukimura Sanada of the Takeda clan has predominantly been the main character, stuck on the majority of covers, posters, and then Samurai Warriors Spirit of Sanada from 2017 was a side game all about his life, family, and the journey his character goes on. With 5, however, the focus this time is on Nobunaga Oda and Mitsuhide Akechi. The game's story follows Nobunaga Oda's ambitions to unify Japan under his rule, no matter the cost. The game spans from the end of the Onin War in 1477 all the way to the Honnoji incident in 1582. This focus lets us see more about the life of these two infamous Japanese historical figures, a more personal take on their story, as we witness their characters develop and relationships build through their battles. From the rise of the Oda clan, the rivalry with other Japanese daimyo, and ending with the decline and death to the Demon King himself, Nobunaga Oda.
で、あるか。
Gameplay wise, if you've played any Samurai Warriors game prior, you know what to expect. If you haven't, you mix and match square and triangle to perform combo strings, you use triangle for your faster crowd clearing hyper attacks, which were introduced in Samurai Warriors 4, circle is your musou or special move unique to each character, and you also have a rage mode. New to this game are skill moves. These are basically smaller special attacks good at clearing groups of enemies or giving yourself buffs. You activate these by holding R1 and pressing one of the face buttons, and they're on a cooldown so it doesn't take long to execute these moves again. The usual case with most Warriors games out there are the expansive roster of playable characters, each one wielding their own unique weapon, which come with their own moves, combos, specials, and animations. This is usually where the repetitiveness of battles eases, as you're always trying out new characters and testing new combos and moves, and it's one of my favourite parts of the Warriors franchise. Since Dynasty Warriors 6, however, Koei has regularly started to give 2 or more characters the same weapons, moves and animations, and this is what's been called clone characters, and it's where Samurai Warriors 5 suffers the most in my opinion. The entire weapon system has been redone. There's only now 15 weapons, shared across the 37 character roster. So you can expect many characters to play exactly the same, and this is really unfortunate. Returning characters that were once so endearing and unique to play are now no different to many other characters on the roster. Lady No was one of my favourites in the previous games. She had these cool looking claw attacks, and she had so much grace in her animations and moveset. But now she has been reduced to a simple bow character, no longer separate from the multiple other bow users and even generic bow-wielding officers. Toshie Maeda now plays no differently to Shingen Takeda, two characters who couldn't be further apart previously and now reduced to being mere model swaps of one another. Same goes for Kanbei Kuroda and Oichi, and so many others. Characters just aren't as fun to experiment with anyone. Just as soon as you know their main weapon, you know exactly how they're going to play, spoiling some new characters that unlock as well. Samurai Warriors 5 is also a very grindy game. Now I know what you're already saying. It's a Warriors game, what do you expect? And yeah, I love this franchise. I know that they all have seeds of repetitiveness within them, but 5 feels more so than past entries. I feel it's a little bit of its watered down characters, but also because of its singular focus on Nobunaga Oda and Mitsuhide Akechi, we get a lot of battles that end up feeling the same. In previous games, the Oda campaign usually showed us the main battles that were prevalent to the story, whereas here the campaign feels much more bloated, padded out to hit a 30-hour runtime, and it's not like some levels are just small fights or slightly shorter levels to show character development and bridge together big battles, and in turn keep the pace of the game from feeling too tiresome. No, every single level following both campaigns are huge, massive battles that last around 20 to 30 minutes each. And this constant flux of battles not only can exhaust the pacing for some players, but it can also weaken the anticipation and eminence of some of these battles. I found myself needing to take more regular breaks from this game than many other Warriors games that I've played in the past, because you're constantly fighting in gargantuan battles, using the same weapons and movesets, seeing the same characters and foes again and again, where in previous Samurai Warriors it was easy to switch campaigns and feel like you were playing from a whole new perspective with a whole new set of characters and a whole new set of weapons. Nevertheless, this is still a fun Warriors experience. The 15 weapons we do have in the game to use have incredibly satisfying crowd clearing combos, and the new R1 skill moves offer even more ways of decimating armies of enemies. Graphically, Samurai Warriors 5 goes with a fantastic new art style, and I love it, and it reimagines all of its characters. The models look brilliant. You can tell Omega Force put a lot of work into making each character not only look the part with lots of fine costume details, but also fit the new art style. I like that Yoshimoto Imagawa was given a more intimidating look over his old campy appearance. Nobunaga Oda looks as badass as ever. Shingen Takeda looks also awesome. My favourite out of the new characters has to be Yasuke. He's definitely the most memorable out of the new additions to the roster, having an African influence in his design. And I've always wondered when the series was going to introduce him, being a notorious historical figure as the first black samurai. I must say I also noticed a change with the levels as well. Usually the levels in Warriors games are pretty basic in design and give off an empty feeling, but in 5 they had seen more improvement, having more complex architecture and a more populated feeling. Samurai Warriors 5 unfortunately comes with no English dub, which is a problem that plagues a few too many modern Warriors games. Yeah, it's accurate to the source material to be hearing Japanese voices in a Japanese set game. However, that's not the issue. The issue is within the battles themselves. Hearing your allies and enemies progress the narrative whilst you're in a battle has you either lose attention to the gameplay and have to read the subtitles on the side, or as what happens with me is I lose any track of what is happening as I'm too busy hacking and slashing away. So you end up missing pivotal moments of changing sides, new generals that enter the battle, or officers becoming traitors as you're just lost in the battle on screen. I can understand the exclusion of other languages if it was an indie or low budget game, but it isn't. This is a huge franchise with 20 plus installments owned by a big Japanese company, and each entry is released at full AAA price. So there's no excuses really. You also have the same issues that return from all the previous Warriors games, like AI that still can't follow simple paths, or enemies spawning out of thin air. Then you've got the jarring aspect of the lead characters, Nobunaga and Mitsuhide, aging halfway throughout the campaign, but no one else does. It's really weird seeing a middle-aged Nobunaga talking with a babyface Ieyasu. It doesn't make much sense and feels a bit cheap. Sound and music wise, I honestly didn't feel much of a tone change from Samurai Warriors 4. The music sounds the same, the sound effects are the same. If you shut your eyes, they both sound like the same game. Outside of the series staple campaign and free mode options, the only other mode of play in 5 is Citadel mode. This is like a tower defense with you able to spawn in groups of soldiers and stop incoming waves of enemies from reaching your citadel, which just like the campaign can be played with either an AI teammate or a partner in co-op. It's fun for a short while, spawning in your own troops and defending your base, but as far as extras go, this one isn't something you'll remember for years to come. It's not like Samurai Warriors 2's management board game mode or 4's conquest mode, which let you create your own general and conquer Japan. Those offered a lot more for your time.
Oyaji殿の指示か。
そうよ。あなたは噂通りのうつけだった。もう用なしというわけね。
お前もそう思うのか。
Overall, Samurai Warriors 5 is not really worth the full AAA asking price. Wait for a sale even if you're a big fan of the series. You're getting less characters, most of which play the same as one another. You're getting a more bloated and padded campaign with severe pacing issues, and as side content is concerned, it's split screen co-op, but don't expect a creator, conquest, minigames or anything else that past Warriors games have had. Don't even expect English dub, because it ain't here either. What we do have is still an incredibly fun and pretty, but bare bones and familiar Samurai Warriors experience. We're getting the full Nobunaga Oda story, and I mean full. Remember the 30-minute war he had when he went to the bathroom at one time? That battle is here too. Remember when he fought his grandmother over a pair of slippers and sent his entire army to kick her door down? Well, it's here. So strap in for a 30 to 40 hours of smashing square and triangle until your controller bleeds. It's Samurai Warriors 5. A 6 out of 10. A high 6 out of 10, but still could have been a little bit more of a packed up experience, less bloated, more unique weapons. It was fun, but after this I'm going to go back to Samurai Warriors 4. Anyway, that's been my review of Samurai Warriors 5. Up next, I've got a big Samurai Warriors ranking list, ranking all the PlayStation entries, and I can't wait for you guys to watch that one as well. I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know in the comments below if you're playing Samurai Warriors 5, and let me know your thoughts on it, because obviously this review was just my perspective. And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone, and adios. Have a good day.